Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Nordic Championship here at the Monster Energy DreamHack Studios. I am, of course, HitPray, and I'm joined by Orcs as we're kicking off our fourth and final game of the day. It's going to be Hillerød taking on Atlando. Now, Hillerød, are they in with a chance?
It's rough. It's rough. Do I think Hillerød can contest Atlando? Who knows?
I mean, when I say, sorry, are they in with a chance of making it to top four?
Yeah. 100%.
Wicked.
They're 6-6 today. If they win this game, they'll tie it with Nordic and Dusty. They're in a good spot to potentially take it. And tomorrow they play against Hybrid, who, on paper, on the standings at least, don't look like the most formidable team. But we've seen from last game.
Just manage Varna.
Sure. Hybrid maybe a harder challenge than you'd expect from them being in the current state in the league. So Hillerød, they definitely want to take this win today against Atlando. It puts them at least in a reasonable spot for playoffs, because then if Dusty or Nordvin don't pick up a point tomorrow, they're tied with them. Obviously, it comes down to head-to-head as well. But essentially, you really want to win this game against Atlando. And Atlando have had a rough split. They have looked a little rough at times. There have been moments of brilliance where I've thought, you know, Jolbu's faker. But ultimately, that wasn't a game where he was 0-7, I think, on Lee Sin. And I was like, he's faker, but he's feeding, so...
He's reverse faker.
Ultimately, Atlando haven't been able to find the success, but they may still put up a strong fight here against Hillerød in their best efforts. It is definitely Hillerød favor, though. I'm not going to sell it any other way.
So, obviously, we've been following this team for the entirety of the Nordic split, looking at Hillerød here as they're the team who are currently within a chance of actually making it to top four. Going into the next couple of days and potentially playoffs, who's been your standout player for this roster? Who's like who you got your eye on going forward?
You know, it's tough. It's between Sloth and Mokox. And I think I'm actually going to give it to Sloth, because I think the fact that he was playing calm in our last game, he was willing to take sort of a step back and facilitate the rest of his team members. When I came in the split, I see Sloth and he's like, I'm playing Yasuo, I'm playing Diana, I'm getting in your face on these melee champions. And he is showed a wide pool. He'll play backliners like Corky. He'll play the supportive champions like Karma. And I think that's the thing, is he's been such a facilitator for his team. I think that's why they've managed to perform so long. They had a very long winning streak, which was only ended when their top laner, Lockett, was unfortunately missed a couple of matches. So I think for me, it's going to be Sloth.
All right, cool. So then, well, we got a bit of time before picks and bans start up. Let's have the same kind of look at Atlando. Obviously, at the bottom of the standings, I've only found 2 wins, but who's been that kind of light in the dark tunnel that is Atlando's run here in the Nordic Championship?
It's got to be Jolbu, right? Jolbu may int his face off in games, but he always feels like he's one step away from making like this insane comeback play. They still lose, but he's still a Baron.
Hey man, I respect the guy, but you're losing, they'll just try. They'll try to make it happen. If it doesn't happen, you were losing anyway.
Jolbu is the best 0-7 Lee Sin I've ever seen. I'll say that. It just feels like this guy hits that point and he'll just get like a beautiful inset kick onto the most fed member on the enemy team, and they blow him up, and then they still end up losing the game because they're massively behind. But that one kick, I was like, I'm a believer. I believe in Atlando eSports. And that's what I'm looking for, right? It's that sort of that spark, that X factor, that 1v9 potential. You know, if you could fix up other areas of his game, like, you know, his early game, his mid game, his late game, his ganking, his lane presence, his mechanics, his macro sense.
What you're saying is like he's good for one play. Like you cash in your token at one point in the game, you're like, I want my Jolbu big play now, and he makes it happen.
It just makes it
and
interesting.
He just goes back.
You know, it's rough because I can't. Jolbu's obviously struggling, right? He's had some very rough games so far this split.
Yeah, I'd say.
I mean, he's 2-10 in the league, and he's had games where he's been 2-10 in the game. But oh boy, those plays! I'm a Jolbu fanboy, is all I'm saying. So yeah, I'm looking at him.
Okay. Hopefully, we're ready to get into the game nice and soon. Yeah, Ermin. Let's talk about Ermin. Let's talk about supports. Fred and Ermin.
Okay.
Have you been impressed with any of them? I've been quite impressed with Ermin so far.
I think Ermin's had some decent moments. I think him and Mokox as a lane duo have been pretty formidable, able to go toe-to-toe. We saw them against Vipers. They held up, actually, Mokox and Sloth looked like the better mid and AD that game, which Vipers, I think Dan Voxney specifically took to an insult, so he made sure to put on a big show to try and prove that wrong. Fred and Thor, they've had good moments. I think when they were on Thor, on Varus, and Fred on Rakan, those are their best 2 champions, and when they're on those, they actually look pretty formidable. It's just they don't often get an opportunity to play those anymore. They're often banned away. And with the current pool of 80 carries, we have seen right now, because the Philios nerfs have come in over time, people are more willing to move out of those trinity of 3, even when they're left open, able to go to the Varus and the Ezreal. But we'll see how that happens here. So right now, it's Senna and Aphelios banned away, so Misfortune could be the first pick, but Syndra is still open. You know, we still have...
I think that was the trade Atlando were trying to force there. They leave open the MF and they go, you take the MF and we'll take the Syndra. You take the Syndra and we'll take the MF. But
they'll take the MF.
Taking the MF, so you expect Jacob to get his hands on to the Syndra. That or the Nami. We saw him play the Nami mid.
Yeah, the Nami.
That was
that was something else.
That might be that was one of their 10 losses.
Unfortunately, that's been nerfed. So Riot nerfing that out really hit Atlando hard. You know, they can't play the Nami mid anymore. We'll see what they want to pick up in this situation. I think they could take a pick for Jolbu right now, or potentially, so something we haven't seen much of priority towards at all is Zyra Khan in the bot lane. So a lot of regions, you know, like LEC, LCS are playing Zyra Khan consistently, or at least they were until they got cancelled, in the bot lane because of the strength it offers in the 2v2. And we just haven't really seen that. It's interesting that they actually end up going for the Xayah and then the Lee Sin, but I think they're not afraid of a Rakan coming out for Hillerød, because then they would just answer with, say, Leona for Fred. But the Lee Sin for Jolbu, he wants to 1v9. He wants to find the...
If he doesn't get, like, at least one good insec off, I'm going to be really disappointed now.
It's an insec or a Baron steal, okay?
Yeah,
Either or.
A big play.
And that does end up handing over the Syndra again to Hillerød. So they get the first pick 80 carry, and they also get this priority on mid laners. But there are answers. We often see the LeBlanc band away in first rotation. It is available. We've seen Jacob have quite a diverse champion pool to offer up against it, so we'll see what he has under the table. For now, though, Hillerød could potentially take a support here or just match in terms of the jungler.
They may hold on support in case this is a Rakan, and then they can pick something that can deal with it, like the Nautilus, like the Leona. So they pick up the Sejuani, not wanting to get that pool banned. But now Atlando, they're going to look to probably take this Rakan and then hard ban out the supports like the Leonas, like the Nautiluses. We'll have to see what they decide to go for here. Maybe they hold it for the moment, but nope, there goes the Rakan.
I mean, if you hold it, it's gone. Like 100%. I think Leona makes sense as a ban. And then it's Thresh. Like, do you want to take Nautilus or Thresh?
Yeah.
Both okay options. Hillerød could actually take Braum here, and although Braum's not great into the Rakan, Braum Sejuani is a really strong combo, so I wouldn't be as against it. And Braum does extremely well into Xayah, blocking the feathers. So all in all, normally I'm very critical of taking Braum in this situation into Rakan, but I don't think it'd actually be that bad. So Atlando, even banning out the Thresh and the Leona, the Nautilus, I don't think you're going to hit them as hard as you'd maybe like to. Hillerød should probably look to ban away mid laners or blind tops away from Andreas. I think in terms of mid laners, there's like the LeBlanc. Typically we see that one banned away in the first rotations. Zoe's another option that often can be quite strong. Or you can look towards the top lane. Seth's been banned. Aatrox is still open available. Gangplank, Mordekaiser, still possible options.
Doesn't mean that Leona is open, available. You kind of lay the solar flare into the bullet time. If you catch out these Atlando members, they're going to get really hurt.
The critical thing is Fred oversteps. You can stun him instantaneously with a Q. And then you can try and burst him up from there, because you have a lot of damage. And then if he dashes back to Thor, you can just throw the bullet time down. They are going to ban away the Zoe, so hitting those blind mids Jacob could potentially take. I would expect to see they either take a blind top laner here from Andreas if they want priority on, say, the Aatrox or the Gangplank. But we saw Aatrox answered earlier by the Kled pretty well, so you could just take a counter mid in this situation.
We'll have to see what they want to go for. You'd expect it to be the mid laner. What does Jacob want to play? He's going to get his hands on the Diana. So wants to kind of shut down Sloth. So we saw Sloth playing a lot at the beginning of the season was this Diana. Now Hillerød, over to them. They're looking towards a support and a top laner. Like you said, that Braum's quite effective here. It's being left open. The Leona obviously is the big one you'd expect.
Are we going to see the Ignite Garen top again from Lockdown? That is the question.
I hope not. I really hope not.
Can we go for the Makai? So it could actually be support in theory. I doubt it, but we'll see from this next.
You could punish the Rakan. He jumps in, you twisted advance.
Yeah, you just root him. Makes sense, and then you can Q to interrupt his dashes. I doubt it, but we'll see.
I very much doubt it. But Hillerød running the clock down here. They're looking to pick up maybe the Karma as their support, something that, you know, isn't going to be in the face of the Rakan, but something that can poke the Rakan. So they're going to lock that in.
Very movement speed focused bot lane, because obviously the shields provide movement speed, good engage, especially for a Maokai to run down. And Misfortune, who's already pretty mobile, it's very hard for the Rakan to hit her with the W, because you can often just run out of it, especially with a Karma shield. So a lot of pressure in that lane, a lot of priority, which is often hard to find against the Xayah and the Rakan.
Do it. Are we going to see it? No. Okay, the Lucian top is still an AD carry top. It's not quite as fun.
I would have loved to seen that. You know, if you think about how many Faker-like plays Jolbu's capable of, throwing in the Kalista ult, even better. But ultimately, you just...
That's when you Kalista him as he's in the middle of the flash. You can't get the kick off in time.
That'll be a bit of a blower. But we see the Lucian come in from Andreas, which is probably not the pick I'd want. To me, from Andreas, I would be like, take the Maokai. And just have a farming lane.
Yeah.
And then become a monster in the late game who can dive the backline and blow them up. That to me is what I expect from Andreas. Because right now I feel like the Lucian, your range is too short to do something late in the game. And Maokai is eventually going to get to the point where you can kind of just shrug off your damage. So not super convinced by the Lucian pick, but ultimately Atlando here just trying to show some of the stuff. Hillerød have very much got like a huge beefy front line, great support for their backline who are pumping out a lot of damage. So I think if it's a straight up front to back, Hillerød have it in the bag. You're going to see if Jolbu can find any success in the early game. Maybe they can play around the 1-3-1 with a Diana in the side lane. Maybe they can play around picks in the team fight. So if there's a good kick, which we're hoping for, or if Jacob can find a great engage on the Diana.
Very interesting team comps across the board here. The Maokai's been kind of resurging a little bit in meta recently. Obviously, the changes to the Sunfire cape and stuff like that has kind of made him fairly viable. Lucian has always been this flex pick that we've seen kind of popping up here and there. But once you get that Blade the Ruined King, you'll have an okay lane. But like you said, he does just get to a point where he's able to shrug off the damage for a long time, unless like Lucian's late game, like full build.
Your range is so short is the thing. That's why I feel like Vladimir would have been good, because Vladimir scales extremely well. Maokai you can't do anything to a Vladimir because you root him and he just presses W.
Yeah.
And he doesn't get rooted, so it's pretty difficult. Especially when it's a Maokai and a Sejuani, the damage between those two is quite low, so it'll be a really free lane for the Vladimir to scale up. But ultimately, this is the direction they wanted to go, so we'll see how this one plays out. Obviously, Lucian offers more early aggression. It's just whether they'll be able to capitalize off the back of that one.
Had a quick pause just before we got into the game, so hopefully it won't be too long before we can get ourselves ironed out. It looks like a ping issue, so just ironing this one out, as it looks like they are finally ready. So we'll be taken to Summer's Rift shortly. No real interesting summoner spells here. Everyone's running the normal stuff. As like you said, front to back for Hillerød is going to be really hard for Atlando to play around. But if they go for, you know, a flank with the Diana on Jacob, and he can catch out Mokox and Irvin and Sloth maybe with his ultimate, and Andreas can just kite the front line, that's always quite a big one. So they've got a few things they can do. We are taking to the Rift finally for our fourth and final game here on day one of week 6, 7? What week are we on? 7.
14.
14. Week 14 here at the Nordic Championship. Been going for a little while.
Well, think about it. They're going to be on 14 games soon.
Yeah, it's week 7, yeah.
Yeah, it's week 7.
30 seconds.
It's kind of blurred at this point.
It's gone so fast. Think of all the memories. Remember that time when that team beat that other team? God, that was great. Hillerød's in a good spot if they get this win. They get this win, they should be okay. Beating Hybrid is nice and definitely puts them in a better spot. Could well secure them playoffs. But they definitely want this one up against Atlando. It keeps things in their hands is the critical thing. If they win this one and they win the one against Hybrid, they at bare minimum get a tiebreaker, I believe.
Sloth. Oh, Sloth. He is doomed. Jolbu. There you go. Fought himself first blood.
I mean, it's now no longer possible for him to go 0-7, so he's already having a great game. Sloth's just overextending. Face checking when he didn't need to be. Goes down, but here's his TP. And loses the red buff for Flipper, so pretty rough. Ward going to come down, but this won't actually spot out Flipper, who can just dash over the wall.
Arctic Assault is on a much longer cooldown though, remember, so... Jolbu's not going to be anywhere near to contest, but it is always something you've got to be scared of. And actually, it looks like Andreas is making his way over. And he just puts a ward down at the tri-brush. So unless Flipper queues back over the wall, he will actually be spotted on his way out.
But it doesn't really matter when he's spotted on the way out.
Looks like for now, he just to go get his chickens as well. So denying a little bit more from Jolbu. Jolbu's taking the Gromp in return. So Jacob early is going to take some poke from Sloth. This range advantage obviously is going to be a pretty big thing for him.
Honestly, Flipper getting pretty good at this trade because all Jolbu took was the red buff. He didn't take any of the camps. And at this point, I mean, he still could go in for an evade on those Raptors, especially since mid and bot have priority. But he's looking to clear up towards his top side. If he has a read in this, he'll head straight to the Raptors, but I...
Ooh, Flipper.
Did he see him there?
No, but he's going to get spotted out now on the tri-brush.
He's still level 2. I mean, you can't guarantee Lucian level 2.
I almost thought that was some really good intuition by him, but nope, not going to go for it.
Yeah, so now he's given up the information. Okay, he leached some XP for level 3. Now he's given up the information to Jolbu, who's instantly going to head to the enemy Raptors and contest them. He has priority mid and bot, so he can afford to do that. So Jolbu has a read thanks to the ward placement.
And Jolbu's going to be able to answer out here by stealing away the chickens from Flipper, so denying him those. So it was a good start. Has now kind of gone a little bit more in favor of Jolbu. Flipper is obviously going to get this crab, but bot side crab should go over to Jolbu, who also with first blood has quite a lot of gold on this base when he decides to go for it. 1100, so he's got a 500 gold lead over Flipper right now.
Enough for a Coalfield.
That's just 600 gold lead pretty much.
Gets a Scuttle as well. Now looking to move top side to contest, but this one's already down. Now Jolbu gets to check the state of his jungle. He knows his red is down because Flipper had it, but I think he's going to check if he has Raptors or Krogs. He's going to head for an invade here, yeah. He's at priority mid, so can afford to do this. Although right now, Jacob did just move out of lane and give a bit of...
Oh, Jolbu steals that as well. Gets the kick onto Flipper. He's going to follow up and actually let's put some damage in. Gets rooted up by the permafrost, and Jolbu now getting collapsed onto by Sloth. They do get himself the Arctic Assault off. Jolbu looks for the kick. Ward hopping away, trying to get the outplay off. Flashes forward, and Sloth takes him down. Flipper holds his life.
Maybe stayed a bit too long, is all I'm saying. I mean, you can have priority in your lanes, but they have to move. It's a big thing. And Jacob actually gave up his priority mid to assist with the Scuttle Crab, so he ended up having to go back and catch the wave. End result is Jolbu goes down and hands over a kill to Syndra, so not a great situation to be in, but at least you got the wolves.
Mocox is down a CS, but should be able to equalize out most of that CS deficit on this wave here. Getting pushed into him. This does allow Fort and Fred to go for a base. Top lane, big CS lead to Andreas already, and he's going to look to try and take some plates for himself. He's got the Cull to start with as well, so he's really playing just to kind of out-lane Lockerdon right now.
Just beat him up. Not fun lane to be in, but again, as a Maokai, you just sort of like, it's cool. I'll get my revenge.
Ooh, Jacob has to flash there. And gives the speed up to Flipper, which means he's able to stick to him, so doesn't want to risk that one. Mountain Drake is the first one on the board. Jolbu's gone to base, got himself the Warhammer, and he may look just to try and pick this up now.
I think it's a good spot to potentially go for it. Their priority mid lane, Sloth's on a reset. I think they just start this up now.
Yeah, Andreas is at base as well, so he's got the teleport. He's going to use it top side, so not going to hold it just in case he needs to go bot lane, but also there won't be any kind of contest. The Vamp Scepter now been picked up for Andreas, so he's pretty much happy with the amount of sustain he's got to deal with.
Well, I think the critical thing is that Lockerdon bit his TP as well, and in this situation, Andreas just wants to match and keep bullying out the lane. With the Vamp Scepter, as you said, he's got Vamp Scepter and the Cold Sustain, so he's going to be essentially out-heal all Lockerdon's damage. But if Flipper can come in here, they potentially find something.
Yep, flashing for the Twisted Advance. He uses the Leech's Grasp as well, and Andreas is just going to get locked down and taken out. Flipper finds the kill. Hillerød 2 on the board.
Yeah, CC. Tanks. Double Bammy Cinder already with that extra damage. Not much you can do to counterplay. Andreas doesn't even get a chance to flash with the CC chain. And a good play from Lockerdon to punish that. It's revenge for picking Lucian top into him.
Yeah, got himself the build towards a Cutlass. But You're seeing like a good trade for him onto Lockeden costs him most his mana at the moment. He's struggling a little bit on that front. Obviously, he has still got the biscuit delivery, so he can get himself some additional mana to work with. He's going to head up to the top side, try and continue to stay ahead of CS. But those 2 assists onto Lockeden. Lockeden's fairly happy.
Yeah,
now building towards...
up now because he got the shove.
Yeah. He's got a lot of armor as well on Lockeden now, so it's going to get harder and harder as this game goes on for him to deal with
the
it.
double cloth armor is going to go into a
Ninja
Bramble
Tabby.
vest.
Oh, Bramble. Yeah, Bramble's a good idea.
Cut down the healing that Andreas can just use to out-sustain you. That's what I think. And then you can finish off the Sunfire, Ninja Tabby, those sort of items later. You can go pretty heavy armor in this game because the only AP threat is Jacob and he doesn't do a ton of magic damage to you. Likely going to pick up a Spirit Visage later on. For now, happy just stacking up armor.
Yeah, Lockeden actually looking to go for a base here. Andreas forces him out of the lane, and Andreas now is just going to look to try and get some free plates as base is coming down. Actually will cancel it out with the Bilgewater. The plate gets picked up as Mokox is moving over. Andreas definitely playing with fire there, but is able to get away for free. Gets the plate, stops the recoil, and now Sloth gets a pretty healthy trade onto Jacob. Got that blue buff as well, so it didn't really cost him much in the mana department. Jobu going to start up this Rift Herald with the help of no one, as his team are resetting and his bot lane are not quite here.
With the help of no one, I love it.
I thought Andreas was still around.
No, he's reset. He wants to pick up that wave in the bot lane. Lockeden also not here.
Sloth needs to be careful, but just get himself a scatter the week off, so Jobu can't follow up anymore. The bot lane now roam over to the Rift Tail to try and zone people off. It looks like Hillerød are going to be the ones to start up the Rift Herald now.
Be a pretty easy take for them. No real contest coming in. They had pretty good swap timing. And after Misfortune will be able to do that sooner because of the essentially free Moby boots she gets from her passive. Can obviously rotate around sooner. So they get the Herald. And they're looking at in an okay spot, despite being down in gold.
Yeah, Hillerød are pretty happy right now. The gold deficit is only 400 as well, so they're not overly fussed. And it's not like anyone who's the real scalers for the side of Atlando, the ones who are starting to pull ahead. It's pretty much equal on all across the board as Jacob paces the pink, finds out Flipper. Flipper going to take out the pink as well. So Andreas continues to push into Lockeden. He's going to jump forward here. Try to get a bit of damage off, but Andreas actually starting to lose out on these fights. The kittens chase him down. Nature's Grass can do a lot of work here. And all of a sudden, Andreas has to flash away with the culling. The cat's chasing him. Relentless pursuit to safety. And that's even pre-Bramble Vest.
League of Tanks, baby. He just goes for the trade and ends up beating him up quite a bit, in all honesty. The saplings coming in, landing the snow was pretty critical as well for the Nature's Grasp to find him. Really nice play. And ends up getting the flash from Andreas.
Flipper's now hanging around this mid lane, maybe looking to put a Rift Herald down. Jacob's going to try and catch it, though. Did use his Lunar Rush to clear that out, though. So he's okay. So Drake spawning up nice and soon. Atlando already got the first one, but it feels like Hillerød are the people in the position to get the next one. Teleport's getting used. Flipper's on a pink ward. Both sides of this lane are pink warded, and Flipper may just be looking for the ultimate, maybe looking for the opportunity onto Jacob. Looks to pin him in place. The Scout of the Week isn't going to get used as Jacob flashes away. That should just be the Drake gifted over to Hillerød. Fantastic roam by their bot lane to head into the mid lane to make sure that they had prio over here. Andreas being forced out of lane earlier cost them pretty heavily. Now actually it looks like Hillerød, they're happy just to push out this tower now. Try and get some plates, try and get some gold here. Jobu's going to try and answer and defend. But it's pretty dangerous for him to step forward at this point.
Can't really get more plates than just these three. You get the two from the Herald, and then the next one's so tanky. But you'll be able to convert that into the Dragon. So pretty favorable overall for Hillerød. But it does mean the response is Andreas going to keep pushing down the bot lane. Actually, they're looking to contest him. No flash.
Andreas being greedy for plates here. He's going to have to run in towards the alcove, but actually not going to find himself a grand escape. Mokox is already going to find him, and he's got the help of Flipper. He's got the help of the rest of the team. Andreas trying to turn it back around, but he can't. Flipper finds the kill. League of Tanks really popping off right now, and they can move over, get themselves this Cloud Drake as Jacob has got Fred at his back.
Got mid priority though, and it's going to move over straight for that one. As you said, Andreas, overstepping a little bit in that situation. Lock it down now. Going to be taking some plates of his own, I think, in the top lane. Did actually get one there. He's going to get a second as well.
Yeah, you get a lot of gold funneled onto him. He actually went for the Ninja Tabby. So I was correct. Didn't go for the Bramble Vest.
Disappointing, in all honesty.
Well, the itemization or the fact that I'm right?
Both. It makes sense.
He doesn't even need it. He literally just 1v1 Andreas
The Ninja
earlier.
Tabby is a good buy, though. And the movement speed means you can chase down Andreas more. But I do like the Bramble Vest.
And Andreas is still 7 minions off stacking that cull as well, so kind of building for the 1v1 potential. There's the chain vest. He's actually just going straight towards the Sunfire Cape as quick as possible.
Yeah, I can respect it.
Probably get a Bramble Vest second, I'd assume.
Maybe even feel he doesn't need it right now. It's like how Andreas can't really heal off him when he just gets 100 0'd and rotated. It sounds like a joke, but it's not.
What a timeline we're on. Tanks. They're kind of like assassins, but better. Do as much damage, but also don't die.
And have a ton of CC.
Because that's the thing, right? Assassins, their whole thing is like they go in, and then like the trade-off is you can turn around and kill them. A tank goes in, kills someone, and then kills another one. And then the AD carry turns up and mops up the fight, and the tank's still not dead.
In fairness, though, when an assassin is fed, it's pretty insane.
Save for a tank. I would argue a tank is also pretty rough.
True. But I mean, everyone's always had that experience, like a Talon, like just looks at you and you just die.
Tannen leaves mid lane 2 seconds ago. Suddenly his bot side, he's got a double kill. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he does like 86 backflips over walls, goes to a wormhole and appears bot just as you go aggressive.
Jolbu finds the insect. There's the opening. Sloth falls and Jacob gets the kill.
I said it. Jolbu likes making those flashy plays.
Yeah, but here comes Hillerød's assassins. There's a pig charging in a tree on the other side. Jolbu's getting pinned down and he just gets annihilated. Look at it, kills him. Oh, God, the assassins in this game are insane.
Yeah. Full tank assassin, Maokai and Sejuani. Not much you can do against that. And that's where my concern is in the later stages for Atlando, is this front line is just going to be so beefy. They're going to have the Karma shields as well. They are honestly lucky it's an Infernal. I mean, Infernal Soul means the tanks do more damage. But can you imagine if it was like an Ocean Soul?
Yeah.
They just never die.
Yeah. No, I was doing some quick maths in my head. 2 plus 2 is 4, minus 1. That's tanks never dying. Quick maths. Everyday trees on the rift. Oh, I got it wrong. I could have done that the other way around. Talk to me.
No, I'm just not going to respond. I'm not going to warrant you with a response. Moving swiftly on. Herald, now the priority on the top side of the map. You see Mocox speeding over there with that strut passive. The rest of the team already in position. It's like Jacob's going to try and apply pressure in the bot lane. He's like, Lock It Done has only built armor. I am good to go. Unfortunately, he'll just one-shot you anyway.
Well, he's getting shoved in the mid lane, so Prio over to the side of Hillerød. They've started up the Herald. See that there is Jacob's pushing in Lock It In, but Lock It In's quite happy in this 1v1. Like, he's so chunky, and he's actually building a catalyst. So he's building the Abyssal Mask as his second item. So
yeah,
at that point, Jacob can't do anything. And Lock It In, 1 versus 3 underneath a tower. I don't know how this is going to go. Fred's got caught out, and he's already putting the kick down. Lock It In sustaining a fair amount here. Jacob finally takes him out. They lost a lot of health, and they're going to lose a turret for this.
They do manage to take him down.
They might just
fell
the
the tree, but yeah, they can throw the Herald down mid and just get a tier 2.
They used everything. They might even hold here. Actually, they're not even going to Herald.
Yeah, they lose a tower bot, but they should just get this one here.
That's another turret down. They saved the Herald as well. 2 turrets mid lane for a tree bot lane.
They got a tower bot lane as well.
Sure.
But still not a good trade.
23 seconds until that Rift turret, until that Infernal Drake spawns up as well. And what's quite nice here is They can now use that Rift Herald somewhere else on the map to draw members away from the Dragons so they can control the area. You can see a lot of their wards are currently towards the top side of the map as they were playing for that Rift Herald. Rift Herald's now going to get summoned bot side to kind of pull some aggro over there and cause members of Atlando to move down. So sure, it doesn't give them you know, the tower unless someone doesn't go to deal with it. But what it does, it gives them lane priority for free.
Yeah,
the Rift Herald's going to charge forward. Flipper's getting jumped onto. And Atlando are trying to answer out here as the
no one's going
Blade
to
gets
answer the
used.
Herald, so...
Yeah, it actually could just cost them a tower here. They're looking to try and contest. This is for second Dragon, so optimistic here. The
Good
teleport's
engagement
available to
Jacob
lock
would be
it in.
critical here, though.
Yeah, you got to keep your eyes on him. He actually dodges away on the scatter of the week. Hillerød step away. They're taking a lot of damage. Someone has to go deal with this Rift Herald. It hasn't charged yet. Dragon's going to get started up, but we might have to keep our eyes on this fight. Herald doesn't really matter anymore. This is all about this Dragon. They're looking to catch people out. Flipper jumps in forward, throws out the stun. In goes Fred for the knock-up. They're trying to fight over for the Dragon. It's going to get secured here by Jolbu, but the Nature's Grasp into the bullet time. Instantly interrupted. Jacob's on a killing spree. Got himself one. As now Lockett is just looking to buy his way out of there. 3 members for the side of Hillerød have gone down, and a triple kill for Jacob.
Huge plays coming out there, and the Herald did get the charge, kills the tower with no one answering, but I think Atlando definitely take that one. They get a Dragon, they get 3 kills for none in that situation. Actually, look,
Oh, Flipper's going down. They get themselves the charge. They get the knock-up. Lockett buying space, but it's the delayed ace here for Atlando. They get the kills they need, and now they can open this mid lane tier 1.
And Atlando are going huge. Jacob is popping off on this Diana now. And Hillerød, this was supposed to be the game you were guaranteed. You're against a last place team in the league. You need this win to keep contesting for playoffs. And you are being challenged right now. 3,500 gold down, 2 Dragons to 1. Atlando just came online.
Let's see what items start to get picked up here. The Zonya's Hourglass just flat for Jacob. Played the Rune King and a BF sword for Andreas. And 4 with the makings of his Infinity Edge. So some big items are starting to come through. Sloth does have himself his Essence Reaver, but you saw in the last fight, all like the CC and the knockup just denied him from finding that big old bullet time.
Yeah, it looked like it actually would have killed Fred in that situation, maybe Thor too, but the interrupt came in critically. Jacob Jolbu doing a great job of diving this backline.
And this is the thing we were highlighting, is front to back, Hillerød are going to play a fantastic team fight. If the team fight's scattered and all over the place, it's the other way around. As the 2 assassins are looking for something onto Andreas here. He's going to dodge away, but gets slowed down. Teleport's coming down to try and buy some space, but the Nature's Grasp going to lock him in place. He is already going in, but that is going to be the assassination as Sloth is teleported in. Locken is looking to buy some space as they use the charge onto Sloth. He's got Ermin to come in for the shields to keep him alive. It's a double kill once again for Jacob, and this time he's holding out fast. Locken's going to get some damage back on, but they're looking to turn it back around. That's the bullet time. Fred's buying the shields, buying the space. Jacob can charge in for the triple kill right here, right now, but he's going to jump onto Mokox, gets himself the Q.
They're so low.
Looking to climb in, gets himself the damage with the ultimate. A double kill for the AD carry. Ermin's getting jumped onto by the quickness, knocked up, triple kill over to the side of 4, and Atlando are well and truly on fire now.
It's an ace for 1 death for the side of Atlando. What is happening? Where has this team been this split? They are coming online and they are crushing Hillerød right now. Hillerød opted into the fight to try and pick Andreas, and the answer is shoes. Jacob TP's in, but it's Thor coming in for the cleanup on this Xayah, finding all those kills on the back end. And right now, those tanks, we said they were assassins.
Turns out the real assassin is the Diana.
Yeah, they ain't doing too good a job of that right now. They're bulky, they take a bit to cut down, but they just don't have the damage to cut through this Diana. And she's able to do so much sustained damage on the back of that Nash's. Now as a Haunting Guise as well, to build up those Madness stacks, so in a longer fight, doing even more.
And the key thing here is, we look at the carries for Hillerød. It's Sloth on the Syndra, and it's Mokox on the Misfortune. The problem they have is they're very immobile. Diana and Lee Sin, very mobile and able to scatter these team fights. I mean, you've even got Fred as well. There's so much mobility that can run interrupt to the like of Mokox. Mokox can't channel his ultimate in the current state of the game unless Lockett and a Flipper lock 3 members in place, which is super hard to do.
Absolutely is, especially in these scattered, disorganized fights that were coming through. Hillerød just want their backline to be safe so their tanks can soak damage, but that isn't happening right now. But with a 5,400 gold lead, even an ideal fight for Hillerød might not go in their favor. 705 on the Diana, 405 onto this Xayah, and they're plenty looking for a pick here, but Thor's ultimate's just come up and available. And now the Chinor, Jacob's here!
Yeah, they're looking to turn this around. Fred does miss out, gets scattered the weak back. Jobu's chasing in here, goes for the kick. Sloth goes golden. Jacob gets himself a kill as he goes legendary. In the middle of the 4 is buying so much space. His team find 2, but it's all 2 for 1. Trade out there, and they do get themselves a shutdown. Jobu slowed out. Atlando now looking to see if they can make something happen. Jobu gets interrupted, has to hop back out of the fight. Andreas throws out the culling. Flipper tanks it. And it does mean that Mokox is able to live. A good team fight there for Atlando. Not quite as clean as they wanted, though.
2 for 1, but the big shutdown means you actually trade down in terms of gold. Flipper was the one who got that kill as well. Definitely not the member you'd want compared to Mokox having it. And ultimately, a reset from Flipper means Atlando should just be able to secure this 3rd dragon and put themselves in soul point.
Yeah, this soul point is because Jobu was able to secure the last dragon in that team fight. In that big team fight ace for them, where it started the turnaround for Atlanta. They got the gold lead. They got the items to boot. Almost got that Leandries finished on Jacob as well. So he'll have an even easier time cutting through these tanks, as 4 now finished up his Infinity Edge and his Essence Reaver. So really starting to kind of pop off here for the carries on the side of Orlando.
Absolutely. That gold lead is slightly smaller after that fight. Just shy of 5,000. But the dragon pressure is now on. That's what makes it really concerning. The fact that that soul is available in just over 4 minutes. Baron also potentially on the cards, but I don't feel like Atlando are going to be able to start it up. Their turn, though, their engage can be good, but being trapped in the Baron pit could be disastrous. See them posturing for control in the Baron area, trying to clear the vision out near the river, potentially look for a pick. Jobu's fishing for something, but Hillerød might be looking for an answer. Scalaweek's going to miss, and Atlando will just go back to pick up the mid wave. One team fight here could mean a massive amount. Giving more gold over the other side, and the Baron just dictate the game. But there's no real massive pressure on Atlando. And they feel confident waiting a little bit more time so the dragon's potentially an option, because that's the critical thing with that dragon is to Hillerød, it's 4% AD and AP. To Atlando, it's the Infernal Soul. And it can mean that you end up trading down as a result. Hillerød end up taking the dragon and losing the Baron to deny the soul, but the end result is they don't get very much.
Red playing very aggressive there, considering his team had all backed off. Andreas now actually should have a slightly easier time dealing with Lockett-in. He's got the Essence Reaver, so mana costs aren't going to be as hard for him, as he's going to be able to recover it and recuperate it over time. And with that Blade the Ruin King as well, he can do a lot of damage to Lockett-in. Once he's finished up that Infinity Edge as well, Lockett-in might have a bit of a rougher time, as he's really starting to fall behind. You can see the CS deficit heavily in favor towards Andreas.
Also a big kill deficit as well.
Yeah, that as well.
505 for Xayah. Oh, wait, were you talking about Andreas?
I was talking about Andreas, mate.
Oh.
But I would agree with you.
I thought you were talking about Mokox.
There is a big kill deficit between the 280 carries.
Yep.
There's a big item deficit between the 280 carries that's been reflected as well there.
You said nearly on Infinity Edge, and I thought you were talking about the Misfortune. That's my bad. I apologize.
It's okay. He actually wasn't nearly on Infinity Edge. He actually went straight for the rapid fire cannon anyway on this base.
Right.
So that kind of range deficit you're talking about is somewhat alleviated. I mean, obviously it's only for 1 auto attack, but it means he can, you know, poke out a little bit, chase. Makes him feel a little bit more comfortable in the lane.
Yeah, if you can get a quick combo as well, follow up with some damage on a Sloth and Mokox, can be nice. Leandries completed for Jacob. He's feeling strong. Game slowed down, but again, Atlando are fine just to wait for this dragon to spawn. Play around that. Jacob's fishing though.
Yeah, looking for Flipper. They will clear this out. I think they don't really think they have quite enough damage to kill Flipper right now.
It would take a while.
It would take a long time. Maybe if Sloth had a Void Staff or a Leandries of his own. Even so.
Wait, even if kill on Flipper.
Yeah.
Sloth had a void staff Leandries.
Avoid Staff or Leandries, he might feel a little bit more comfortable.
Sloth's on Flipper's team, so how would Sloth kill Flipper?
He would bait him into a team fight. Flipper engages, and then he just TPs away.
There you go. But I mean,
That's how you kill your teammates.
there's not much magic resist on Flipper. And we did say magic resist wasn't a huge priority in this game where Jacob's only threat, but Jacob's 8 kills with the Leandries, so he's a threat. Does actually have quite a bit of sustained damage, so he will cut through Flipper, but it's not instantaneous.
Yes.
He's a tank. He can sort of bear the brunt of that. But a huge ultimate from Jacob can literally just end a team fight in seconds. There is a Zhonya's from Sloth. Flash is available from everyone at the moment, so set up for this next fight. Dragon in 30 seconds. This is a soul for Atlando if they can secure it. And Hillerød are already starting to posture. It's easy for them to move in on the back of these tanks who can shrug off damage. Atlando won't give this one up.
They're
Engage.
looking to get one. They've already got Jolbu. Jolbu's down. Jungle is dead. That should just be the Dragon, unless Atlando want to make a Hail Mary play here. I think they don't want to even risk it. Although they are stepping forward. Four's going to do a lot of damage, actually. Look at him getting chunked. Feather's being placed 4, uses the Feather Storm to dodge out, pulls back the Blade Cooler. Massive ultimate by Jacob as he pulls them in. Everybody's flashing away. They're jumping in forward, but a massive Scatter of the Week does come down, and Fred is going to die. Jacob's in the middle of the fight now, and Andreas, he has to flash away. Hillerød turn the team fight back around. Mockets gets flashed onto as he's trying to pump that damage out, gets himself the return. Andreas answers back out as well. It's a 3 for none. It's not even a 3 for none, it's a 4 for free, too.
Where are you pulling these numbers from?
It's my lottery ticket.
4 for 2 overall in the extended trade. Hillerød going to be able to secure that Dragon. Ultimately, the fight wasn't the greatest one for Atlando to take there, being a man down. And it was pretty difficult for them to find a good angle in the team fight. They engaged so fast from Hillerød, all those summoners up, and all the summoners now been lost from Hillerød. Everyone used their flash. The heal and the ignite also down too. Jolbu still has his flash, Jacob and Fred on top of that. And there were critical things that went wrong in that fight. The ultimate, yes, it looked like a big one from Jacob, but it wasn't able to connect onto the carries. Sloth has the Zhonya's available, and they had summoners to get out of that. Fred actually got stunned in his quickness when he was going for the grand entrance, so wasn't able to find that CC. Just things not going right for Atlando. And the critical thing was that was a front-to-back fight.
Yes.
And it resulted in Hillerød coming out ahead despite the massive goal discrepancy. Now, there still is a big lead for Atlando, but they missed out on that sole opportunity, and Hillerød definitely feeling more confident now.
It started with a flank as well, but the rest of the team weren't able to pincer. They had to move forwards through the tanks, and they just were unable to. Through Sloth, scatter the Weaking in a straight line makes his life so much easier. Now, Jolbu maybe get himself caught out once again. It's going to get ulted onto by Flipper. The bullet time's going to connect as well, as Fred now has to jump away. The teleports are getting used, and it looks like we're looking for a bit of a fight here. That's going to be the knock-up. Jolbu jumps in, looks for that miracle kick, just kicks Mockhawks out, goes golden momentarily as the front to bite Fat is there. But Jacob! What an ultimate! The rest of the team are here to mop up. The grand entrance is interrupted. Actually, they find that turnaround. A double kill for Sloth. They just refuse to die.
It looked like that was going to be the fight for Atlando, but the damage just wasn't enough to come in. The Karma Shield's coming in clutch. The tanks are too bulky, and they're able to turn it round. It ends up being a 3 for 1 overall, and Hillerød feeling super confident there. Jolbu tried for the hero 1v9 play, but he isn't 0-7.
What? There he is on the floor, face down.
He isn't 0-7, so it didn't work.
Oh, I see.
That's the fundamental thing. He ends up kicking Mockhawk sideways. He could have kicked Sloth in that situation. He tried really hard to get the misfortune, and it just backfired.
And the thing is Sloth is more of a threat once Mockhawks has used bullet time. Bullet time was interrupted, and then at that point it was like, if he just kicked Sloth back, they could have murdered Sloth, and then Sloth wouldn't have been Scatter the Weaking through the team and interrupting.
He could have just kicked a tank, and if he kicks them through the other squishies.
Yeah, does a lot more extra damage.
There were a lot of things that it just wasn't. It wasn't the 0-7 Jolbu I know and love.
4 is looking to build the last Whisper here as well, so he can actually kill the tanks, which would be nice for him. So Portal Combat is breaking out a little bit here, but that did start with Flipper looking to find something onto Jolbu. So that time it was at least a slight turnaround there, but Hillerød are really starting to turn these team fights around. The gold lead is still heavily in favor of Atlando, but as we get later and later, that gold lead starts to mean less and less. Jacob just going to catch this bot side wave and push it out. Baron's still on the cards, and it doesn't look like either team's really feeling particularly willing to risk starting up the dragon. Jacob, once again, just pushes in this wave a little bit more, steps back. He really wants to get himself the Void Staff or the Death Cap so he can start to kind of pop Mokox and Sloth. But Sloth with the Zhonya's makes his life really hard to actually find that full 100 to 0 onto the
To me,
Syndra.
I would have preferred a more like a sort of bursty build from Jacob. Because right now, yeah, he shreds the tanks, but like the tanks are pretty okay with that. Because as long as their carries are surviving. And that ultimate, I was expecting a lot more damage, but really there's not a ton of AP backing Jacob up.
Yeah.
Like Sloth has a much more bursty build. And obviously Diana builds differently, but it's 300 AP. You're not blowing up squishies with that much. Especially with the Karma shields coming in pretty clutch. So I guess we'll see how things pan out. Last Whisper now picked up for Thor, working towards that Lord Dominic's.
Void Staff now on Jacob. So he's probably going to finish up with a Death Cap around this build out. It looks like probably at the rate this game's going, you could potentially even see him finish that item. Dragon is spawning 34 seconds until it's up. Hillerød once again are the team with the advantage on there. There's actually a base coming out from Andreas. He doesn't have teleport. He's been sitting on the items towards his Infinity Edge for a while, so he is going to finish it for this fight.
And he should be able to run over with the Home Guards bonus. Actually, they're heading straight towards Baron. They're baiting out this Dragon. Remember, this isn't Soul for Hillerød.
Yeah, they're quite happy just to go for this. There are lots of wards in the area, though, so Thor's going to clear them out. There's that cheeky ward on the outside as well. So
I think they just want to pull them over.
Looks like that might be the case.
They saw Thor not auto-win it, so I think they know. Yeah, they're going to put down the blue trinket, so they know for sure. It's Atlando trying to pull them away from the Dragon area, but ultimately...
Mokox may just go start this. As Baron is going to get started up, they're not baiting anymore. They know the Scry's down. They know the ward's going down really quick. They're going to take it out so fast right now. That's the culling. In comes Jacob. The Nature's Grass going to use. He tries to catch one out with the ultimate. Jacob goes golden. Fraud jumps into the back line, gets himself a massive knock-up off, and a lot of damage to boot. That's going to be a kill already picked up for Mokox. You can see the damage that the tanks are putting out. The Dragon is stolen away! And Hillerød are looking to tidy up the fight, but Atlando are jumping onto the back line. Four still remains untouched. Sloth has got a full health bar. Mokox is taking a lot of damage from Andreas as he takes him out. It's a double kill onto the Lucian, but the Baron is crucially stolen away. Sloth now has to try and shut down the members on this Baron. Doesn't want to give up Soul, but he can't step forward too aggressively here. Otherwise, he will die. What a steal by Flipper.
His ult's coming up soon, though. He has Flash. If he wants to go for a hero play, he can, but ultimately he knows he's not going to steal away this Dragon. Infernal Soul for Atlando, but they lose the Baron. They wipe it off everyone but Sloth, though. But Flipper with the hero play, securing that one. But what a close fight. Andreas just coming in clutch at the end on this Lucian, looking to clean up.
Just incredible stuff there by Flipper. That fight was a little bit more scattered, though, so that front-to-back team fight didn't really work as you had Fred and Jacob kind of splitting the team fight up while the rest of the team were able to pump that damage out. You're seeing how much damage Andreas was doing. Last Whisper on 4 as well just means these tanks are now butter to him.
Yeah, and this is where it gets difficult being a tank with 35 minutes. Infernal Soul and triple Infernal stats on these carries means they're just shredding these tanks.
Oh, Jacob looking to get caught out here. They're actually onto 4. 4 goes golden into the bullet time. Does have his ultimate for the moment. He's trying to buy some space with that Itcher's Grasp. Fred is just in there. Jolbu gets scattered away, so he can't find the kick. They get his kill already. Jacob throws out the ultimate, trying to get some burst off. Remember, he doesn't have that stopwatch, and now 4. He's the one getting jumped onto. It's a double kill for Mokops. A shutdown for the mid lane, and only 2 for Atlando stand. Sloth still has the Baron buff, so they're going to push straight up into the base.
They can just end here. The death timers are so long, and they have a Baroned up wave. They're looking to defend, but 2v5. This is not a good look for Atlando. They may just lose this game here.
This could just be the throw right here, right now. Jacob unable to get that insec. Andreas has to put some serious work in here. He's got a QSS so he can buy a little bit of time. Jacob gets a kickoff, but it's only onto Ermin. Ermin gets chunked out. Andreas annihilates him and gets unleashed powered down. That's going to be the kill. That's going to be the game. Fred is the only one who stands as the next Nexus tower goes down. The Nexus is open. 36 minutes on the clock, and this is Hillerød's game to take. Atlando full.
It was such a close one. The team with the Infernal Soul losing, and Atlando, they had so much momentum with these huge carries, but ultimately the team fights were too hard to execute. It was pretty no-brainer for Hillerød. They have this beefy front line to absorb damage. They have the Karma Shield to facilitate the carries. As long as Jolbu couldn't get a great insec off, they are fine. And critically, they denied him from that so many times. It felt like Hillerød had a composition that was easier for them to play. And despite the fact they got dismantled in the early game, they're able to bring it back against Atlando and get a needed win to keep themselves in contention for playoffs. They're now tied at 7 points apiece with Nordic and Dusty. And Atlando, I've got to say that they put up a good effort. I think this is probably the best sort of like early mid game we've seen from Atlando so far, even compared to the other two wins. And it was great to see, because although this team is out of playoffs, it's great to see they're still putting everything into it. They're still trying their best, trying to play.
Yeah, there's no Nami mids and a bit of kind of messing around. It is straight up
play that.
They are playing serious League of Legends right now, and unfortunately for them, it wasn't enough. But that was probably a little worrying for Hillerød. Maybe a little bit closer than they wanted it to be. I'm sure they were sweating a little bit in that game.
This is like, guys, we're against Atlando. We just pick up this win, keep ourselves in playoffs, and then suddenly you're like, Jacob's 8-0, Thor's 5-0, and you're like, you have that sweating emoji.
Let's have a little look at tomorrow's games to see what we got coming up here at the Nordic Championship. So, tomorrow we'll be starting off with Atlando versus Bifrost. Our second game of the day will be Hillerød versus Hybrid. Game number 3 will be Nordic versus Vipers. And we're rounding the day out with Team Singularity taking on Dusty.
So, I think the main thing is the importance is going towards Nordic, Hillerød, and Dusty in terms of fighting for those playoff spots. Vipers and Singularity, there's still a fight for that first place spot. So if we do see a situation where Singularity get the game, they can potentially pull it up. But it's not going to be decided purely by their matchup. We need Nordic to win as well. So if Singularity win that one against Dusty and then Nordic win, they can actually tie for first and have tiebreakers. But the 3rd, 4th, 5th spot, Nordic, Hillerød, Dusty, that's what we're looking towards. One of those teams will make playoffs.
One of these teams will be making playoffs. I am loving the Nordic.
One won't be making playoffs.
Won't be making playoffs.
Two will. So one will.
Well, it's technically right, because one of them will as well. But then also another one.
It's like one of them will make playoffs, and then slightly later, another one will make playoffs.
I mean, I'm not wrong. Yeah, I'm loving this region, man. It's honestly, this game almost proved that any team can beat every team. Unless you're Atlando, unfortunately.
I mean, look at Hybrid as well.
Yeah, I know.
And these teams do not give up. They will just take any fight. And, you know, even though there wasn't the cleanest League of Legends that game, it was chaotic and it was fun, and I love it.
It was so much fun to watch. Now, that is going to round us out here at the Nordic Championship. We will be back for our final round of the regular season tomorrow at the same time, the same place. So until then, good night, and we'll see you later.